When I say various forms of learning, it includes formal learning. Formal learning is through formal qualifications, for example, certificates, diploma degrees, so on and so forth. So non-formal learning is through without linking with any qualifications. So for example, professional development programs that has been conducted at workplace, something like that. So, and then informal learning. Informal learning is learning through work-related experience, social, family, or hobbies, or any activities. For example, the skills that are learned through work experience as sales representative would give them the informal learning that could be assessed, and then they could be receiving RPL. So these are three different forms of learning that will be recognized through RPL. So the purpose of RPL is to an assessment process. So depending on the criteria, so the provider will assess the prior learning, meeting the requirements that are specified in the training package or the web accredited courses. So the process includes the document evidence that include records of completed training, assessment items, assessment records as an evidence for recognizing this RPL in the system. The students can also provide declarations from students or employer, and then a copy of records provided by ASCA. So on high level, RPL is an assessment process. So moving to the next slide. We are now looking at credit transfer. Credit transfer is also similar to RPL, but these two are very distinct, and then the assessment process is totally different. So credit transfer recognizes the student completed a unit through VET or higher education before, and then the provider can apply credit for the specific unit or the component completed before. So it also has an assessment process, and depending on the provider business process, the assessment process may change. It's subject to change from provider to provider. So it also includes documents that are qualification of completion or transcripts or statement of attainments, USI transcripts. So all these documents will be considered as evidence to recognize a CT. So once a credit has been granted for a student, so he need not to repeat that particular training or assessment for the unit. Okay. So the lastly, I have included as a note point, credit transfer superseded equivalent units. If different versions of units may have different content and training delivery. So when considering the superseded equivalent unit credit transfer, so the providers may follow best practices by conducting a mapping analysis if required, if the unit has been superseded for more than once, to ensure the student skills are still relevant. Okay. Then moving on to the next slide. We're going to look at ASCA guidelines and NCVR reporting for RPL and CT. Coming to credit transfer. So credit transfer is included in NAT files. So at the for every year, you will be submitting IWitness data to ASCA through NCVR. So this credit transfer and RPL are reported through the NAT file 120 with the national outcome identifier for the credit transfer is 60. So, and then unit activity start and end dates are the credit transfer, when the credit transfer is administratively processed by the training provider, and it cannot be the same date as a unit competency date. Depending on the business process of the provider, the assessment process may vary, as I said. So, and then they can record the unit activity start date and end dates within the course boundary. So all these information has been referenced from the ASCA guidelines. And then coming to the RPL. So RPL is also included in the NAT 120 file. So with the national outcome identifier as RPL granted number 51, if any additional training is required for a student, so the provider may report the final outcome after the training. If RPL is not granted and no further training is required, then they can report with the outcome code as 52 RPL not granted. And then the unit activity start date and finish date would be the assessment start date and then assessment finish date. Okay. So next, we will now look at how to record RPL or CT in the MEST RTOManager system. So firstly, there are two parts. So I will explain it from the offer stage. When an application has been submitted for a course by a student, so the student may request for RPL or CT units to be recognized. So he may apply for CT or RPL. So through the application, they may send this information, or the student can contact you through an email and then send this information. So if at the offer stage, the admissions team can go to the offers manage page, and then they choose the application with the offer ID, specific offer ID. They want to process the CT or RPL, include the CT or RPL in the. So they can review the units that are requested. And so in the offers edit application details, there is an icon that says advanced standing. So they can select this icon. So when you select the icons for a specific course, in the screenshot that I am showing you here, so it's for the certificate 4 in business. So it will include all the units that are part of the course, and then they can select the units that CT or RPL has been requested. So in terms of the system, the recording process for both CT and RPL would be similar. There's not much change when you're recording in the RTOManager. So you select the units from the group of units, and then you do not tick the approved button. So do not tick the approved button, and then you add the data. So units will be recorded in the advanced standing section at the offer stage. So later on, you can begin the assessment criteria, assessment as per the guidelines, and then later on you can upload the necessary documents as an evidence. So you will see an upload button after you add the data, and then these documents can be uploaded against each of these units for reference and record keeping purposes. So at the offer stage, this is how the information can be recorded. So we will now look at the student stage. From the student stage, you can go into the student results page. And then from the student results page, the advanced standing icon is available on the student results page as well. So through these advanced standing units, once again, you select the required units, and then you add the data without taking the approved checkbox. And then you would see the information available with the upload file upload options as well. So depending on the provider business process, so they can start the assessment, and then they can go through the assessment process for RPL and CT. And then once the assessment has been successful and the student has been recognized as competent for those units, so later on from the student result page, the academic staff can select the units and enroll with no batch. The subjects or units should be enrolled with no class batch. So you need to enroll the units with no class batch. And then after you enroll, so you need to edit the specific units and then change the outcome. As I have mentioned, as per the national outcome identifier, if it is RPL, then you choose the RPL outcome. If it is CT, then you would choose the CT outcome. And then you would record the unit activity start and finish dates. Okay. So these are two steps. Once And then later on, you can record the approved. RPL is approved in the system, and then the evidence documents can also be uploaded against each unit with using the file upload option. Okay. So when you record the unit outcomes correctly for both RPL and CT, so this will eliminate all the witness errors that you would be getting when you're trying to submit the data for the national reporting. So it will save you a lot of time. So when you're doing it for the first time, if you're doing it correctly, so you do not have to work on fixing the errors at the end of the year for submitting the data for a witness. Okay. So I'm just going to provide you a case study specific to RPL. So a particular student who has an experience working as a chef moved to Australia with no formal culinary experience, no qualification or no certification. He hasn't done any courses related to culinary, but through a recognition of prior learning, his extensive work experience has been evaluated and assessed through RPL, and then later the provider has uh, recognized the work experience that he has gotten from working as chef and in his country, and then he has been and allowing him to earn an Australian qualification in commercial cookery at XYZ College. So getting a qualification in commercial cookery allowed him to secure a job at a restaurant and then continue his further studies in hospitality management. So what do we learn from the case study? So recognition of prior learning is a valuable tool for validating the skills that are gained through formal, informal learnings, especially for the candidates who are coming from overseas. Quickly, I will also show it to you in the system so that it will be easy for you. So on the RTOManager, firstly, we look at offers manage from the offer stage. So for a specific offer ID, which has been requested for CT or RPL, so the admission staff can go to the edit application details, click on edit application details, and then so they can review all the student details. So there is a section here. The student can request for credit transfer or RPL. So they can put information related to credit transfer or RPL in the application. So you would select the advanced standing icon. So when you select the advanced standing, you will see all the units that are part of the course structure. And then you can select the checkboxes respect to each unit, and then you would add the data. Once the data has been added for the units, so these upload evidence icons will be visible. For every upload icon, then you can upload multiple files as per the assessment guidelines. So you add this information at the offer stage, and then once the offer has been converted at the student stage, you can do the same thing from the student stage. From the student profile, we go to the result page, and then select the advanced standing icon, And then you would see the similar information about all the units part of the course structure. And then you select the respective units without taking the approved checkbox. And then depending on the RPL or CT assessment process, so the provider can begin the process, and then after they have been deemed as competent, so the providers can come back to the screen, and then they can bulk select the subjects, and then they can approve them, approve the advanced standing for those units. It could be RPL or it could be CT. And then once this has been approved, once this has been approved, you go back to the student result page, and then you would select those units, select the subjects, and then select the units associated with the subjects. And then you would enroll those units with no class patch. And then you go to the update icon for the available which in the action icons list, and then you would choose the final outcomes. So the national identified code NSW 51 recognition of prior learning is for RPL, NSW 60 is for credit transfer, and then 52 is for RPL not granted. As per the specific case, whichever is a required outcome, the academic staff can record those, whether it is an RPL or CT, and then they can record this information. And then along with the activity start date and finish date, the activity start and finish date should be within the course boundary. And then they can save this information. So that's how you record this information. So we're almost at the end of our session for today. So lastly, I'm gonna provide you we're going to look at workflow. So MEST workflow, we do have another product. So a lot of people who have joined the meeting today may not have understanding about the MEST workflow product and may not have seen this product altogether. There is a separate product called MEST workflow, which is an optional paid product, which is designed to streamline the student form submissions and then business processes. This is a specific product for managing the business processes through the for the providers, and then working with the form submissions and all. So that product includes different forms. It comes with pre-configured forms and business processes. So business processes that include RPL and CT process to assess those units. And then it also includes many 10 other processes. When I say student refund process, the provider may have a different process as per the necessity. They could have a specific process for refunding the student paid fees, and then they may have a process for course change if the student has already started a particular course, and if they want to withdraw from the course and then change to a different course, so withdraw process and then changing to a different course. So it comes with 10 different processes. So on high level, I'm just providing you with information. So this is how it looks like. So it comes, so you can have a process. When I say the process, it includes different tasks. At the end of the day, the student has to submit a particular form linked with the process. So as in this example, recognition of prior learning or CT, so it comes directly with a form with all the necessary information to collect from the students accordingly as per the assessment guidelines. So the student has to fill out all the necessary information related to units, upload the necessary evidence documents, and then they can submit the form. Once the form has been submitted, so directly that form gets assigned to the persons, whoever is involved in the business process, to take the decision. So they can review those forms, and then if required, they can further check with the student for necessary for any further documents if are required. So, and then they can review as per the assessment guidelines. So whatever the things they need to do, they can do, and then they can so if it has to be escalated to some other staff persons to for making a decision, so everything is automated. So the administrator, so one person in the college may act as administrator, and then they can further customize these processes as per their business process, and then everything will be automated. So the task will be getting assigned automatically for the staff persons, whoever is involved at every step of the process, and then they can record the final outcome if the assessment has been successful, and then they can record the final outcome, and then automatically the product, the system will send an automatic email notification for the student, so that RPL or CT has been successfully assessed, and then it is a success outcome. And then after this has been done, then you can further record it in the RTOManager as I have shown you before. So this is a very helpful and very useful product. So it also integrates with the MEST RTOManager. So there are some integration, users will be integrated, all the staff persons, users, and agents will be integrated for the MEST RTOManager with the workflow. So anyone interested can reach out to our sales team through this email ID to get more information about the workflow features and the pricing. So we will be able to share the necessary information accordingly. So at the end of the day, I would say this is a very beneficial product, especially for catered to manage specific business processes. So yes, so we're at the end of the session. So we're still left with 5 more minutes. So I can take a couple of questions if you guys have any questions.
All right. So any questions, anyone?
I think a couple of questions have been posted in the chat.
They're mainly my side. Okay, so once again, I have posted the YouTube link. So if anyone is interested to re-watch this video, please go to our YouTube channel to download the clip. And also, I have posted a link referring to what Sai have last introduced, the workflow module. So if you are interested in knowing more of this module, please click onto the link inquiries@meshgroup.com.au, and our sales team will be in place to answer all your questions. Okay, so last chance, anyone, any questions? Sai is open for, we now can open up the floor. Let me quickly unmute everyone. Okay, so I've allow everyone to unmute. If you have any questions, you can simply unmute yourself and then can ask Sai any questions. If you are too shy to say anything, please post them onto the chat and we'll pick it up from there. So all good. So Sai, you must have gone through a very clear and precise content for everyone. So everyone seems to be very clear in terms of your topic.
Yeah.
Hello, Jenny. Sorry
Yes.
for interruption. It's Yui speaking. So I just posted a question in the chat box regarding the RPL non-grant. So if RPL is not granted to the students, I mean, why should we record the result as RPL instead of enroll the students to that unit as other scheduled units?
Sai?
So I have seen your question posted in the
Yep.
chat as well.
Yep.
Just a second, please. So coming to the RPL not granted case, if the RPL if the student has not taken any further training and
Yeah.
RPL is not granted, then you can record it with RPL not granted. If
In that case,
if no further training has been taken. But
okay.
however, I can further take your question and then we can consult with our compliance team. I have taken your question and then we're going to respond it to you in an email.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, Sai, I see another question here saying that would it be possible for RTOManager to improve the feature of advanced standing process only for one-time record? Rani, Sai, do you have an answer for this question, or do we need a bit more clarification?
I think we need a bit more clarification.
Rani, do you think you can maybe give us a bit more context around your question about improvement for RTOManager? We would very much welcome any suggestions, but we will need to know a little bit more before we can actually go in and put through this request. Randy? Rennie? Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong.
Rennie.
Would
it be possible if RTOManager improve the feature of advanced anniversary only for one-time record? So Rennie is one of my favorite persons.
Okay, so you actually know Rennie.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so Sai, do you think you have the process
I think
showing
she has put more
record.
information.
Okay, it says the process showing we need to record in advanced standing icon and in the result as well.
Yes, that is right. So the information has to be recorded in the advanced standing icon, and also you need to enroll the units and then record the necessary outcomes. It is a two-step process. So with the way it works in the higher ed platform is different. The way it works in the RTOManager is different. So probably Rennie has worked in a higher ed platform before, and then the process that she used to follow in the higher ed is a bit different. So now in the RTOManager, you need to record the information in both the places.
Okay, good question. So anyone else? Let me quickly scan through the checklist so I don't miss anyone. No, it looks like we only have these two questions. So this pretty much come to the end of our session. So last call. Any questions? Say now or forever hold your peace. Okay, well, Sai, I think we're all good.
All good.
All right, so
Well,
thank you, everyone.
Have a nice weekend.
Have a nice weekend. Oh, please be reminded, once you leave this session, there will be an automated pop-up feedback screen that pop up on your screen. Please complete that form. We'll very much appreciate it. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.